Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Dudeist journey with your host, the Reverend Phillip K. That's me. I'd like to first start off by saying that Dudeism is not a religion; it is a philosophy. That philosophy is modern-day Taoism, the art of peace. There is an art of war, so there is also an art of peace. I'd like to thank you for joining me here today as I'm having myself a drink and my home-rolled hemp cigarettes. Oh God, yeah. And for those of you first joining us, I'm trying to roll, and I'm terrible at it. So you're gonna hear that throughout the whole deal today. Oh, so if it's your first time, just to catch up to speed, I started this podcast after I lost my little brother in 2020 to an overdose, and I lost my wife of 22 years just last year to cancer. It was tough, man. It was still tough, and I have the people in my family like hippies and stuff, and they sent my wife healing crystals. They didn't work. Okay, so, but basically, I've been talking a lot about grief and life and how you kind of deal with these sort of things like depression, loneliness, and it's been tough, and I've been busy. I know I was trying to do this whole I'm going to post once a week, and now I'm not posting once a week because I have not had the friggin' time. Since my wife passed away, everything's on me, and I'm working like 6 jobs trying to keep the boat afloat, you know what I'm saying? So I'm running around all over the place. And of course, the jobs that are making me money, they take precedence. There's one job I've been trying to do, which is trying to finish this book that I've been writing. I'll do a whole podcast on it, but an episode on it, not its own podcast now. But I do want to talk about it, and it is a little bit different for me because it's historical fiction, which isn't typically my field. I mean, the novels I've written are Ghostbuster parodies. Yeah, which are, basically my fan fiction that I had to turn into a parody because Sony said no. So, yeah. But I'm trying to get into everything, man. I got to do audio recordings, for the audiobook and marketing and TikTok videos and all this bullshit. Oh, God. I hate marketing. It just feels so cheap, but you got to do it, man. And I know it's Halloween's coming up. Hope you're all... By the time you hear this, you'll have had a happy Halloween, I hope, even though for most of us we froze our balls off. But it's hoping you're going to do okay. I'm the guy, I made a Ghostbuster costume. I bought the flight suit, patches, did all my own stuff, put it all together, and, dyed the elbow pads and everything. And what I've learned is that you just pick that one costume and you can build on it every year without scrambling, trying to be like, oh, what am I going to wear for Halloween? I already got it taken care of, man. It's already done. Which is nice, yes. So what's been going on out there in the world today? I mean, there's the war in the Middle East, again. I don't really have a comment on it because it's not my fight. It's not my battle. I'm not Jewish. I'm not the person to talk to about this. But one big news that came up, which I thought was funny, was the Barbie movie. Holy shit, did this fucking thing just explode? Now, of course, it's a Barbie movie. Yeah, it's gonna explode. It's fucking Barbie, But there was this whole, sexism kind of thing going on, and it was weird. There were these guys that were like, if you're a man and you see Barbie, that means you're a beta. I'm like, dude, the fact that you said that tells me you're the beta, okay? Because every man knows that if you've got a wife or a girlfriend or a daughter like I do, you're going to see this fucking movie, right? And the movie didn't look interesting. I mean, from what I saw the trailer, I was like, let me guess. She goes into the real world. It's not what she thinks. So she goes back to her own world, but it's all screwed up. And now she has to take what she learned in the real world to fix her world, right? And yeah, that's pretty much the entire plot. It's also the plot of Black Panther, by the way. But I didn't understand what the big deal was, why everyone was talking about it. Why are we talking about Barbie when we got these awesome movies like Last Voyage of the Demeter? Hello? Come on, we got a Dracula on a boat killing people. And the crazy thing is, if you know the book, you know the story, everyone on this boat dies. So it was like, all right, we're going to see some killing. And there was another good movie that came out, and I was surprised about, Haunted Mansion. Did you guys see that one? Oh, man, it was fucking great. Like, kids, grandparents, parents, we all fucking loved it. We all got a kick out of it. I mean, way, way better than that piece of Eddie Murphy shit that came out fucking years ago. It's a fun movie. I mean, right amount of scares, right amount of laughs. It's freaking great. So I'm just like, we need to talk about that movie more often. I don't do film reviews, but somebody should. Well, what's been going on with me? Well, okay. So I'm single. That I'm supposed to be dating, right? But I think that when you're going through the waves of misery, man, after losing someone you love, it's tough, man. I got 2 kids. I got a lot of baggage, man. So I'm a little wary about entering the dating world because I haven't been in the dating world since 1995. So, yeah, I'm extremely pessimistic. But my friends are kind of like, you ever have friends you talk to and they kind of mess you up on these certain things, like, okay, so there was this one gal, she was having a friend of mine, she's having a birthday party, invited me, so I went. Not a lot of folks showed, and this is the thing about being friends with like cosplayers and stuff. A lot of us are antisocial, so when you invite us to a social event that doesn't involve cosplay, we usually don't go. It's just a sad truth. And so I go, and she shows me some of her stuff. I'm talking to her about anime because my kid's all into friggin' Pokemon and shit. And I don't really want to go down that rabbit hole, because I went down the My Little Pony rabbit hole. I went down deep. I mean, I have action figures of Cheese Sandwich. That's how fucking deep I went down the MLP rabbit hole. I'm not going down the Pokemon rabbit hole. I don't care. I don't care how much the kids love it. But she was just kind of showing me some stuff and everything I thought was cool. And so I tell my friends, they're like, oh, hey, where were you? And I was like, oh, well, I went to this birthday, this girl I know. And they're like, ooh, oh, you're getting frisky with a lady, going to a birthday party, da-da-da. And I was like, I didn't really get that kind of vibe. And then she asked, she was like, hey, since your kids are trying to get into anime, I have some books if you want to take them. I got them for free. And I was like, okay, cool, that would be great. And then they're like, oh, hey, man, were you going to get some books? You going to knock some books, Phil? And I'm like, dude, seriously? I'm just picking them up. So I go to her place. We talk for a little bit. She gives me the books. I leave. Nothing major. Then there was this live podcast recording. She had an extra ticket. She was like, hey, no one I know wants to go. Do you want to go? I was like, sure. So we went. It was this old theater downtown. But we had a good time. It was a good show. I was surprised. And so they were like, oh, so that was a date? That was a date? I was like, I don't think that was a date. Pretty sure that wasn't a date. Because sure enough, when I was talking to her, she was telling me about her girlfriend. Yeah. She's like, I have a girlfriend. She lives out of state. We're doing a long distance thing, da-da-da. So I was like, okay, well, there you go. There's nothing there, all right? So there's this one gal I met. I met her at one of the conventions I was at. And we hit it off and everything. Now, she followed me on Instagram. I went to follow her. She did not accept my request because she has a private page. So I'm thinking, okay, I'm a new guy. She doesn't know me. Yeah, hey, I get you. I get you. So I try talking to her, and it takes her forever to talk back. And sometimes I don't even get a response. And finally, I was able to chat with her a little bit about some conventions and stuff. And so I said, hey, if you ever want to hang out sometime, here's my number. And I don't hear anything. Okay, like ghost, right? And my friends are like, oh, no, man, you should have said date. Yeah, you didn't say the word date. And I'm like, what the fuck is up with it? I gave her my number. I said, you want to hang out, call me. I threw the ball in her court. It's up to her now. Because women get all kinds of unwanted advances and shit. So, like, I'm not trying to be that dude. So I'm just like, I'm giving her the power. She's got the option. But they're like, oh, no, you got to say date. You got to write her back and say, hey, man, you want to, like, go on a date. No, like, I'll send her, like, a funny GIF or a meme or a clip or something. Doesn't say anything. So I just kind of, like, quit. I was like, okay, I feel like I'm beating a door that's not opening here, so I'm just gonna step back. But they claim that I did something wrong, that it was my fault, it was my problem. I'm like, think what you want, but homegirl straight is just not talking to me, man. And then I went and had another female friend, and she was. We texted, we started talking about meeting up, and I did the same thing. I gave her my number, and I said, hey, if you ever want to hang out, let me know. She texts me that night, and we start chatting, we're laughing, we're hitting it off, and sure enough, she sets up a date. Hey, let's meet over here. Now, once again, it's not technically a quote-unquote date. We're just, no one said that word. She just said, hey, let's go to this bar, Sunday night and hang out. And I was like, okay, cool. There you go. There's no date, there's no pressure, there's none of that bullshit. It's just two people hanging out, And I have no idea if she's even interested in me because, once again, we were friends. So, it's kind of hard, when you've known someone who, was married and then they're not anymore, you still see them as that married person. It's kind of crazy. But yeah, so I'm having all kinds of problems with this because it's like, hey, I know I'm single, I should be in the dating world, but I'm scared. I'm like... And plus, I got a lot of shit to do, and when you look at, a lot of the stats on marriage, I don't know. Like I said, man, I was married for 22 years. I think I should be single for a little while, because I'm already having simple problems. Like, I have to remodel my bathroom, okay? Now, we were going to remodel it for my late wife, because as you know, if you're a married man, or you move in with a woman, you have no fucking say in how the house is decorated. It is the craziest fucking shit. You can pay for the house, but your shit is not going up anywhere. And everyone talks about, oh, you got your little man cave. It's not a man cave. It's a room where my wife stuffed all my shit. It's like, this is just where my stuff is. I used to have this all around around the apartment, but she fucking shoved it all in here. And so now that I have the full control and full power, which I have to admit I get to decide what happens in my bathroom. And so I'm going through and trying to make the decision of what I want, where I want to put it, and I'm going through all that fun stuff. And calculating costs and everything. And I'm going to have to do the work myself because I haven't been able to get a fucking contractor out here that will send me a quote and be, responsive and stuff. It's been the fucking hardest goddamn thing. So I'm just like, look, instead of having some stranger come in and out of my fucking, my house or whatever to do the bathroom, I'm just going to fucking do it. And I have my father-in-law and my nephews living here now, and so I'm like, hey, they're always doing, work and stuff all around the place. I'll get them, they'll come, and they'll do this shit. But I'll do it together and called it a bonding experience. Good show, good show, good show. But today, fellow dudes, I'm talking about the Grieving Person's Bill of Rights. That's right, Grievers got rights, dude. And I found out about it just last month. Because I've been having these issues, man, where, I'll be having a great time, just like a good day. And then this wave hits me, and I'm just sad and depressed as fuck. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Now, when you have a loved one that enters hospice, you get certain things like free counseling and stuff like that. And so they have this newsletter that they give you for a year for free. They give you some tips and helps and all kinds of things about what you're going through and what to expect and resources and all that. And so they sent me one, and I caught this article, and it said the Grieving Person's Bill of Rights. It's by this Dr. Wolfelt. I'm going to call him Dr. Wolf because that's just easier and it sounds cooler. So Dr. Wolf, man, he works in psychology. He works a lot with loss and life transitions. And so he came up with look, these are 10 things here that grievers should know, man. And so that's what I'm talking about today, is that if you've lost someone and you're grieving, well, you got rights, dude. And we're going to talk about them today. All right? So hold on here. Yeah. So, the first number one right here, dude. You have the right to experience your own unique grief. Now, no one will grieve the same way you do. So, When you turn to others for help, don't let them tell you how you should be feeling, And I've had this kind of issue too. Like when I first kind of started, it was just like, well, how long do I wear my wedding ring, and when should I date, and what this and that, And the fact is, no one could tell me. They're like, it all depends on you. Some people, they take the wedding ring right off. Some people, they never take it off. So it's up to you. And I had my own issue back and forth with those sort of things. But being told that it's like, look, man, we're all different. You're going to handle this different. You just got to kind of ride the wave and get through it. And so that's the thing that's been kind of like helping me, is realizing that, hey, man, there's no playbook. There's some guidelines, but I wouldn't call them rules. And so that's something that you can just kind of help you to where you're like, if you're feeling bad or something, don't, okay? You're going through some shit. And a lot of other people out there don't really understand it because they haven't gone through it themselves. And when they do, then they'll get it. Okay, so number 2 says, talk about your grief. Shit. Talking about your grief will help you heal. You'll seek out others who let you talk seek out others who will let you talk as much as you want, as often as you want. Now, see, this is hard for me, okay? Because when you're in a state of grieving, you're just depressed as fuck. I mean, you're fucking Eeyore, okay? You're fucking Eeyore, all right? You want to be Tigger, but oh no, you can't be Tigger because Tigger's on a lot of coke, Or you at least want to be like Pooh Bear, but no, you're fucking Eeyore. You're just depressed as fuck. Now, I do like that, despite the fact that I'm depressed as fuck, is that my friends will still invite me places, and it's very kind of them because I am just a sad piece of shit over here. And I made the promise that, hey, you invite me out, I'm going to go, and so I go out and have some fun time. I got to meet John Waters, man. They took me out for my birthday, and it was a VIP thing, and I got an autographed poster, and I got to talk to John Waters, who was pretty cool. I asked if he was ever going to run for president. He said no. But it's tough for us. We always feel like these burdens because there are people out there that are fucking Eeyores, and all they fucking do is talk about how horrible life and shit is and everything, but they don't want to do anything to fix it. That's the part that kind of gets on me, like, oh yeah, I got these problems, I'm overweight. Yeah, it's tough being overweight, it's causing pain on my knees. And like, oh, okay, well, you should probably, just, eat healthier and get some exercise. Oh, yeah, I can't do the exercise, my body hurts and everything. It's too much. I can't do it. It just causes too much pain, Okay, well, what about eating healthy? Oh, I got the diet soda, I'm working better, I got lettuce and tomato on my cheeseburger, I'm doing better. It's like, motherfucker, what the hell? You almost hear this litany of excuses. But we have to try to find as a person that's, like I said, listen. Just fucking listen. I don't want your fucking advice. I don't want you to tell me shit. I just want you to listen, And to have that person just kind of understand. It can be difficult, but if you find someone like that, if you find like that confidant, hold on to that person, all right? Now, number 3, you're going to feel a multitude of emotions, all right? You're going to feel many emotions during the grief journey, quote unquote. Some may tell you that you're going to feel angry, and that's wrong. Fuck you. You're going to feel angry because you're going to be frustrated at times. You're just going to be stressed out. But don't judge yourself on these kind of responses, man, because they're unfortunate side effects of the situation that you're in, okay? And sometimes, it's just like, why are you crying so much? Well, because I'm fucking miserable. I'm really sad. And so crying is going to happen rather often with me, okay? And like I said, you'll find those people that can listen and who understand that. They understand you're going to have good days and bad days, man. And I do too, and I have days where I'm feeling like shit, but I'm trying to feel good, I'm like, I did a good business decision, made some money. Okay, good. I should be feeling good. Gonna go out and celebrate. Hell, gonna get me a steak dinner for lunch, right? Like, gonna do something, right? Get me a little bit of that fancy liquor they put in a box, right? Because if it's in a box, it's fancy. so I try to do like little things, because I remember like Keanu Reeves was talking. Everyone was like, "Oh, Keanu Reeves so lonely." He was like, "Well, I take myself out. I buy myself things. I treat myself and have some fun." And I'm trying to do the same. And just not having a partner, because like I said, I was married for 22 years. I had a partner for a long time, and to not have that partner again, it fucking sucks. And there's that part of me that wants to have that partner again. But as a friend of mine brought up, it's like, listen, dude, be single. Just be single for a while. Raise your kids the way you want to raise them. You got no one else. You already have enough people asking for your attention. You really want to throw someone else into the mix right now with all this shit going on? And it's true. Like I said, a lot of baggage here. Okay, number 4. Be tolerant of your physical and emotional limits, okay? When you're feeling when you have feelings of loss, feelings of sadness, these things can fatigue you. The depression can just swoop you down to where your energy levels are fucking zero, all right? Now, what you have to do is you have to respect your body. Because sometimes your body is like, look, I need a rest. I need a fucking nap. And that's the thing I've been doing. I've been doing a thing where I regularly take naps every day. Because I'm like, this is something that I have to do. My body's telling me to get some rest. I'm going to get some rest. Because I toss and turn all night. I have not had a good night's sleep since my wife passed. And anytime I've ever had any dreams, because I always have like crazy dreams every night. The only time that I've had dreams, it's dreams that my wife has come back and everyone's happy. And the kids are jumping up and down. Mama's home, mama's home, It's that kind of stuff. And it's fucking tough. And so, but I try to remember to, get some rest and also eat well. All right. And that's kind of tough because, yes, do I want to eat, an entire line of Oreos out of the package? Yes. Yes, I do. But I can't do that, man. I've got to eat right. And I always have a problem with eating right because the people who I knew who were like, vegans or vegetarians or whatever, they would just shove it in your face all the fucking time. I'm so healthy. Look, I'm eating a salad instead of a cheeseburger. I'm so healthy. So I hear that voice every time I order a salad, What would you like to have, sir? I'll have the grilled chicken salad. Because I'm so healthy. Ugh, I fucking hate it. I fucking hate it. It's like there's something I just... But, it's okay. It's you got to eat the stuff, got to eat the veggie skillets and the veggie omelets and shit. And so that's what I'm doing. Okay, that's what I'm doing. I'm doing my part. All right, I'm doing my part. Okay, so this leaves me down to number 5. Now this motherfucking one, this is what made me give this whole Bill of Rights serious consideration because this has been happening to me consistently. And finally, someone just put a nail on the head here. And that is number 5. You experience grief attacks. That's right, grief attacks. Just like how there's anxiety attacks, there are fucking grief attacks, okay? It's when this powerful surge of grief overcomes you. And it can be frightening, but it is normal, okay? And you typically, like I said, best to talk about it, so find someone who understands that you can talk to. Now, this is the shit that's been happening to me. Like I said, I'll be doing something great. I'll be on cloud 9. Hey, did something good, whatever it is. And then just feel like shit, feel like crap, feel like fucking hell. And I'm like, why? Why is this happening? What the fuck? I was doing great. We were doing great. I got this and everything was working out. And what the fuck? It's like, what the hell happened? Right? And so the fact that someone was able to say, look, man, these are grief attacks, and you're going to have these for a while, probably for maybe a couple years, possibly longer. But you will overcome them in time, just as the grief and the pain won't be as strong as time goes on, which I hope it won't, because I can't take much more of this shit. I only have so much Xanax, okay? I'm getting to the point I'm just going to have to start buying bags of weed. All right, so let's take this on to number 6 now. Number 6 says, make use of ritual. Now, rituals are like acknowledging the death. And this also is basically like funerals and what do they call those things now? ceremony of life or some bullshit or celebration of life or something, you know. Now me, I went through the rituals. Okay, I went through 3 fucking rituals. Okay, I had to do a celebration of life, here where I live, and then my wife, who had a plot next to her grandparents back out west, we had to go out of state. We had to go there and bury her there, and there I had to have a burial funeral, and then I had to have the reception, which was the next day or a few days later. So I went through 3 funerals. And you're talking to folks and everything, and sometimes, yeah, you can meet people that can help and this and that, but it was tough because, for one, the funeral was a lot of my wife's friends, who I'm acquaintances with. I mean, I know some of them pretty well, but it was just like I barely fucking know these people. There were some folks there I had never fucking met before. It's just like, but that's these things just it helps us to kind of say goodbye, and it helps to cement the fact that this person is gone. At least that's what it did for me. Because, like I said, man, I've been with my old lady for years. I can't talk about the last 25 years of my life without mentioning her. That's where I'm at, man. So it's tough to kind of just realize that she's not there. I had a lot of moments after she first passed where I had this like, I don't know. It's like this feeling that they're just going to come through the door and say, "Hey, what's up?" and "How's it going?" and just it'll be like it always was. And it was only in those moments that I had any fucking peace. And they were so brief. And as time goes on, you don't it cements the fact that that person's never coming back. And that's, like I said, man, that's where that number 5 comes in, those fucking grief attacks, man. It fucking hits. And I'd like to say that, I've gotten a bit better, but it's still tough. Pain's still there. It's not going away. And my wife passed away in December, so the 1-year anniversary is right around the corner, which is just great. Yeah. Fucking wonderful. All right, let's talk about number 7. Let's keep going. This one, of course, is big and obvious here for me, which is embrace your spirituality. If faith is a part of your life, express it. Be with people who understand it. People who support your religious beliefs. So yeah, man, Dudeism has helped me definitely deal with the loss of my wife. It really has, because that take it easy motto has really helped me, especially during those stressful situations, when you're real sad, you're depressed, you haven't slept, you're stressed, and then your kid knocks something over and you fucking snap at them. I'm happy to say that Dudeism has helped me, prevented me from doing a lot of those. And yeah, you snap at your kids sometimes, but that's because they've been doing shit for hours and hours, and you told them 1,000 times, "Please stop screaming at each other," but they keep screaming. So yeah, I think we've all had that. But yeah, Dudeism helped me. This podcast has helped me. I mean, this is basically my confessional. And even though Spotify's been kind of fucking it up, hopefully we'll work something out, Hopefully we'll be on talking terms. So definitely, if you have any spirituality or Dudeism or mottos or philosophies out there that help, yeah, man, use them, man, because sometimes you just fucking need to. This one here is a bit. Number 8, search for meaning. Now, yeah, a lot of us are going to be like, why? Why the fuck now? Why me? Why this way? What in the fuck? Now, here's the problem. Some of these questions do not have any motherfucking answers. They don't, okay? And when you talk to people, you get a lot of cliched bullshit, like, it was God's will, or think of what you have to be thankful for. Fuck you. Fuck you, you piece of shit. Like, really? Fucking really? Like, look, man, I know I have things to be grateful for. And the fact you say that's God's will, it's like, man, look, I'm already agnostic as it fucking is. Like, this is not helping. You're pushing me more towards atheism with that kind of talk, all right? It was God's will for my wife to suffer on all fucking hell and end her life. That was God's will? Really? Your God sounds like a sadistic piece of shit. Ugh. But anyway, the thing is that sometimes shit fucking happens for no fucking reason. Okay? I knew people who lost their house in a hurricane. Was that God's will? No. It was a fucking hurricane. It was an act of nature. Some call it an act of God. But no, look, it was a fucking hurricane. Hurricanes come through, they damage shit. They happen to damage their house and their little town, and everything kind of got fucked up for them. Now, was there a fucking bigger meaning in that? No, it's a fucking catastrophe. Shit fucking happens. And now it's like, now you just have to pick up what you have left and keep moving. Because if you stand still for too long, you're just going to die. Which brings me on to number 9. Now, this one, I'm a little back and forth on, but it's treasure your memories, okay? Memories are one of the best legacies that exist after the death of a loved one. You will always remember. Instead of ignoring your memories, find others with whom you can share them, which is cool. And I've tried to do where I talked about fun times I had with my wife, or little things that she did, or, you know, habits that she had, or even shit that set her off, you know? It's tough now because, like I said, the wound is still fresh and it still hurts. And I try to do what I can to use comedy to deal with it, because that's just what my family taught me, you know? You can be broke, but you can laugh at a joke. And we use comedy a lot to deal with our pain. And it's hard to think about her memories right now because it hurts. It just hurts so fucking much. I mean, I had like pictures of her and paintings I did of her all around her room. And after she passed, I took them all down. I couldn't look at them, man. I honestly couldn't fucking look at them. And then I have, photos of her out. I have photos of her out in the living room and stuff with the girls and their kids. And I mean, I'm not taking those down. I mean, and then we got, we still have some of her ashes and a 3D photo of her on a little stand that lights up. Some of her favorite things, like an angel and a cross that she used to always want to keep wherever. And it's really hard dealing with the memories. Like we were decorating the house for Halloween, and I came across this hand-carved little statue of a man kissing a woman. And my wife and we found it on our honeymoon. And so we have had this the entire time we've been married. And it was so fucking hard to look at, man. It was so fucking hard just remembering everything. Remembering what shop we were in. We were over in San Luis Obispo. It was a beachy day. It was cool. And she found it and thought it was really cute. And wanted to buy it. And we did. And it was like on our mantle of every place we ever lived ever since then. And now I'm just like, now what do I do with this? And as much as I'd like to keep it out as part of the decor as we've had it, I can't look at it anymore. And so I had to take down this little statue and put it into the drawer I have with all of her things in it. These little mementos, like some clothes and hats, her degrees, her certifications, picture books we made her. I made her a book, Why We Love Mom, because my wife was in a wheelchair, so she always had these insecurities about, am I doing enough as a mom? Am I a good mom? And so I talked to our kids, and they were like, Mom's the greatest. What you said? Mom's the best ever. And so we did 10 reasons why we loved Mom, and we put 4 or 5 photos for every reason. And she loved it. And I was like, take this to work, and if you ever feel like you're a shit mom, look at this book. And it'll remind you that you're a good one. Because, Lord knows that woman had all kinds of fucking shit against her, and she still persevered. The quote, I made a little meme with her face and a quote, and it was, I married the love of my life, became a court reporter, and had 2 children, all while being in a wheelchair. If there's something you want in this life, then fight for it. It was something she told me once, because my wife was an inspiration to me. And those words right there can really tell you about her character, because she fought for every inch. I mean, you think you got it tough, try living in a fucking wheelchair. And now that brings me on to our final Bill of Rights here, the final right of the grieving person, dudes. And that is number 10, move toward your grief and heal. All right, what do we mean there? Well, Dr. Wolf says, reconciling your grief will not happen quickly. Yeah, got that one. Remember, grief is a process. It's not an event. You have to be patient with yourself and avoid people who are impatient with you. Neither you nor those neither you nor those around you should forget that the death of someone loved changes your life forever. And fucking men to that shit. Because I definitely can attest to that, man. I am not the fucking same, man. I am changed. And I think that's the part that kind of really hit me. Was like, I'm not the same. I'm not the same guy I was. You know, you get a scar, you go through some trauma, you're different. You try to, you try to be the same person. You try to keep that happy or go-luck or good attitude or whatever you had before, man. Before all this shit. But I'm not the same, man. I'm trying to remain upbeat, trying to remain optimistic, and trying to go out there and do good, Like, taking my youngest daughter to the fucking Barbie movie. Dude, everyone in that theater was a dad with his little girl. I swear to God, every fucking guy in there was a dad with his daughter. It's like, this is the only reason why we're seeing this shit. It's because our kid, and sure enough, all the daughter, they got their Barbie figures with them and their dolls and their dresses and shit and backpacks and crap and fucking blankets. I mean, some people were, up in arms about like, oh, they only made this for women. Yeah, no shit. They made Transformers for the boys. They made Barbie for the girls. Get on the fucking bus already, okay? You're late. We got places to go. So that is it, man. That is the 10 Grievers Bill of Rights right there, man. Because when you're grieving, you're going through your process. No one else is going through this. You're going through it uniquely, And even like me and my kids, I lost my wife, okay? I lost the love of my life. Now, can I find someone else? Can I remarry? Yes, I can. But my kids, they lost their mother. And you only get one mother. There's no replacing that. So even though we're going through something similar, it's also different from us. And no matter what, I got to be captain of the ship, man. I got to make sure that they're going to be okay through this. But at the end of the day, are any of us okay? Well, thanks for tuning in, man. Now that I've talked about this, maybe you're grieving, man. Or maybe you got someone you know who's grieving on some stuff. I want you to take 5 minutes, just 5 minutes of silence. Think about this. Think about how you can apply it, how other folks might find use of it if you could take this and use it for them. So let's go ahead, man. Let's go ahead. Let's do 5 minutes on the clock. We'll start the 5 minutes right now. we're back, man. Well, thank y'all for tuning in. Hope maybe today something I said might have helped. Might have brought a little bit of realization. Maybe something you might be able to use. But most importantly, when you're out there, man, when you're out there in this crazy world with all this crazy shit and all the fucking madness, just remember, do everything you can to take it easy. Because when you take it easy, the dude abides. Thanks for tuning in, man. See you next time.